You are tuned to Channel 9, Kennett Zenith Cablevision. Thank you for watching. It's time for talk. Each evening at this time, Monday through Friday, Rosemary interviews local personalities and others who bring items of interest to this community. Time for Talk is designed to cooperate with our local community betterment program. And now, it's time for talk.
A tour through the Ely Walker plant. I've never been in, never really had a tour, but we have been fortunate enough to have the plant manager, Mr. Robert DePriest, who's going to give us a personally conducted tour and let us see what goes on inside this plant. Mr. DePriest, you've been with Ely Walker how many years?
25 years.
And as plant manager here?
7.5 years.
7.5 years, all right. Are you originally from Kennett?
No, I'm originally from Perryville, Arkansas.
All right, so you're not far.
Not far, about 30 miles.
All right, the beginning process for shirts or whatever you do here starts with these rolls, as I understand.
Yes, yes, these rolls are pulled from the cases. They're issued for a certain cutting ticket, certain order, really. And then we pull the piece goods, put it on the table. From there, it is pulled from this table, goes to the spreading. The piece goods is pulled from the table. It goes to the cutting table then. You're going to see the piece goods being spread with a spreading machine, and we lay this piece goods one ply at a time, and naturally it determines how big the order is how much piece goods we put on the table. Then when the piece goods has all been spread, we will lay a marker that has all patterns marked on it that makes the complete shirt.
Okay. Now, these pieces on this table, is that the next process, or where
yes.
is the marking process down here? You said it is not done here.
The marking is not done in this plant.
All
We
right.
have central marking in our Perryville, Arkansas plant.
All right, now then you get these pieces back, right, from Perryville?
No.
No?
We will cut this. We have the marker that's laid on top of the spread after all the piece goods has been spread, and it has the patterns on it. We cut by that paper pattern.
I see. All right, we're looking at what, 30 dozen shirts?
Approximately 30 dozen spread, 30 dozen high here.
All right, now this pattern that's laid on top, that you, how many shirts did he say this whole thing would make?
This spread would make about 500 dozen.
500 dozen. Doesn't that blow your mind to make 500 dozen shirts at once? Now, I believe you said this was all for one order, like
Yes.
Walmart.
This particular, this is one of 4 spreads, one of 4 cuts. This was a 1,600 dozen order for Walmart alone. No one but Walmart. Every shirt made in this will go to Walmart.
All right. So, and they specified patterns and materials and.
Yes, their colors, their size range. This happens to be a juvenile from size 1 through size 4, little boys.
All right. So from here, with the patterns laid out, the different things are cut out, like the front of this.
This is the yoke that goes on, makes the front yoke on the Western shirt.
Okay. Now she's
doing the cutting. Now she's following the line. This is an electric cutting machine that would cut 7 inches of material at one time. She's having a little problem with keeping the current plugged to it now. This machine has a knife that actually moves up and down. It's got about a 1-inch stroke. That you notice that she's wearing a glove, a protective glove.
made out of chain.
It looks like a chain. This is one of the requirements that, well, it's not actually a requirement, but it's a real safety feature, because if that knife hit your hand, it wouldn't make any difference whether it was the flesh or the bone or what it be. It would lacerate it severely.
How long have you been doing this? About 3 years? Was it difficult to learn? It really was. Do you ever make a mistake? Quite often. I think of how bad it would be to make a mistake on that much material.
Well, a mistake there, she may be calling a 1/16 of an inch, missing that line a 1/16 of an inch. A mistake. It is not correct, but it's not bad enough that it would affect the garment.
Okay. All right.
You've got a certain amount of tolerances that has to be built in to your patterns. A lot of your chest measurements and all, you have a plus or minus a half inch overall
now
measurement.
what about the waste? What do you do with the little, there's bound to be a huge material waste.
There is. This runs us about, you have to figure it in your cost, but it runs about a half a yard per dozen shirts.
All right, now
on an
does
average.
this go, is it reused?
Yes,
Does somebody use
there's
the scraps?
there's a company that buys all the scraps.
Describe this.
All right, this is a die cutting machine. It's a hydraulic machine that cuts parts to where they've got to be more accurate than we can cut with our electric cutting machine. These happens to be bands for that same order that we were just discussed for Walmart. This is another spread of it, and these two parts, there's two pieces of material that go together with a lining, and they have to be exact. It's one of the more critical parts of our shirt, and by doing this, all bands are identical.
All right,
There's no tolerance.
could we look at the blade on that die when she gets this?
We
back
sure
cut?
can.
I'm curious about how.
It's not as sharp as you might think, because that is fluidic hydraulic power
Yeah,
that pushes.
Not really all that sharp. All right, even I know what's going on here now. She's putting on pockets.
So in the pocket to the front of the shirt, this machine has an automatic thread trimmer. You notice when she stops, there won't be any thread on the shirt that trims top and bottom thread at the same time. All the threads have been trimmed from the shirt. Now, a girl sets approximately 100 dozen a day.
100 dozen a day.
A day.
All right. How do you know where that pocket's going to go on that shirt?
Got a little hole here, punch hole.
Oh, okay, a little hole. And you can put 100 dozen of these a day on?
Well, sometimes 120 or 130. The rest of them back there, they do more than I do.
They do more than you do, the rest of them? Yeah.
5 years ago here,
45 years ago. What's your name?
Margaret Marler,
Marler?
M-A-R-L-E-R.
In 45 years. Have many of them been working this long in here?
Well, I've been back 35 years without quitting. When you quit, you got to start over.
But you've really been here 45 years. Oh, that's amazing. I tell you what, you know what? They don't lose a minute to even talk to you, do
No,
they?
they don't.
Back here a good while.
This one's been back here a good time, too. I see her zipping the pockets on also back there. All right. That's good. Well, they have to go at that speed to get that many
Yes,
shirts
they
done.
have to get that many dozens out
All
of
right,
the same time. Now, these people are all working on piece rate, too, incentive earnings.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right, there's grippers going on here.
Yes, this is gripper attachment. The operator here is running two machines. She runs the right and left front. We have the stud and post snap that goes on the right front. The left front has the pearl on it. And
She is running two machines. That's right.
Yes, this operator will turn out about 300 dozen a day. 300 dozen pairs of fronts per day.
All right, now, is that, how many can a new person turn out on a job like this? How long has she been at it to do this?
Well, she's been at, Brenda has been on this job for about 3 years, I guess. A new operator would take, to be able to turn out what Brenda turned out, it would take her probably 6 months to get up to this speed. And some people would never get to this speed.
All right, now, what she has on, is that for noise control, or what she have on her ears? Is that a radio?
That is a radio. They kind of turn everything else off and listen to their own music.
Well, I don't blame them. Anything would beat the sound of these machines putting on grippers.
Now this is a flap attach operation. The pocket was set. We've got the grippers put on the front. Now then they're putting the flap. All Western shirts has a flap over the pocket. This operation is not as fast as the one we just looked at. This operation, a girl would do about 60 dozen a day.
Okay. You have every operation worked out as to how many, on the average, one can do, right?
Yes, all operations have been time studied, and we have piecework earnings. They're working at a piece rate, incentive earnings. We have good earnings. It all depends on the speed of the operator, how much she earns.
Okay.
Now this we call a shoulder joint operation. After all your backs have been completed, all your front operations have been completed, then we join the front and back together at this operation.
Listen, I always thought putting a collar on was a difficult job. She makes it really look easy.
Well, it looks a little easier than what it is. If I sat down there and tried to do that, it wouldn't come out that well. But
It would be upside down and backwards.
But this is one of our more difficult jobs in the plant. It's not any harder to do than any other job, but we have more difficult in training our people to do this job and to get the speed that's involved with it.
All right, now she doesn't, these are not cut apart, are they? The collar, they just are continuous? The shirts are continuous, are they?
Well, after she completes the bundle, she will break them back and restack them into a bundle again.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's still a part of the job. Like everything else, we've got a little thread break there.
You know, I'm amazed at the number of Western shirts. That's all you're doing. How many plants are doing?
We have 3 plants today that are making Western shirts. Totally, probably about 6,000 dozen a week. But this operation is what we call sleeve and fell. We're sewing the sleeve in the shirt and felling the sides, sewing the sides up. This is, it's done with a serge machine. It's not like a serge machine a doctor would be using, but it does have a knife and an overedge that trims the edges and makes both parts come out equal.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, yes. There is an allowance in our patterns to figure about a 3/16 of an inch cutoff on all parts, sleeve and then side seam.
I'm amazed at the efficiency of these people. Look how fast she can sew that thing. That's amazing. And this machine puts both of those, all
yes,
of that on there.
This machine does all the stitching at one time, yes.
All right. You've been at this long? This machine?
About 5 years.
About 5. How many can you do a day?
35, 40 dozen.
35 or 40 dozen.
Well, this is like any other operation. We don't only outside of we do not have a production on this job. This is an inspection operation. I don't think anyone has the quality that our merchants would be looking for if they didn't have their inspection stations throughout the plant. We have intermediate inspection stations from the beginning through the finishing of our product.
Now, what do you look for?
I have the joining. We operate the joining and the collar closing and setting.
All right. Now, what's the most common mistake that you usually find?
Well, most of it's in the collar closing, and then we have the joining.
Collar closing.
And the joining, too. So we inspect this, and we have to turn it and inspect this, and be sure that the setters is all in the ends.
All right. Now, what if you find that the seam's wrong or the joining's wrong?
We pin it up and take it back to the one that did it. Well, they have numbers on their tickets, see.
Okay, and then do they have to...
They have to fix it.
Take the stitches out?
They fix it, yeah. They take
That comes off of their production time.
Well, yeah, it's what they're, yeah, it does.
Okay.
They have, each one fixes their own repairs.
All right, how long have you been inspecting?
About 3 years.
About 3.
Yeah, see, I've been here 29, but I was sitting.
What have you done in the plant?
Sewed buttons back in the back.
Sewed buttons. You like this job better?
Well, they're all right.
Now, we're into the finishing department now. We're going to be pressing and folding the shirt. Now, you're going to see that we don't press the entire shirt ready to wear. We press the part that would show in the package.
This is kind of the way I iron, too. I've always been amazed at how they can
return the call, Jerry.
Get the cuff and get that packaged. I can never put it back together like that, so I...
All right, now, here we're going to be folding the shirt. We've seen it pressed. Now we're going to be folding. This is where they put all the pins in. You've heard the old saying, that last pin that you missed? Well, this is where we put all the pins in. And that happens to be a collar forming block that shapes the collar the way we expect it to be shaped. An operator doing it by hand wouldn't be able to shape all collars alike.
And she's the last step before it's wrapped?
Yes, it will go to the packing department from here. There's an inspection operation between here and packing to inspect their work.
You have been watching Time for Talk. Each evening at this time, Monday through Friday, Rosemary interviews local personalities and others who bring items of interest to this community. If you are aware of items of interest, please let us know for possible airing on this program. Time for Talk is designed to cooperate with our local community betterment program and is made possible by the cooperation of Kennett Cable Vision Incorporated. The Holy Scriptures come alive with Martell Pace coming up next. Stay tuned.